Potters Bar in Hertfordshire. Population 22,500. A town like many others in the UK, situated in the heart of the UK's Greenbelt. It is served by a 20-minute rail journey into London's King's Cross and by junction 24 of the M25. And like many other towns throughout the UK, there is massive housing expansion coming. There are 4 planned projects, and these will increase the housing stock by another 3,800 houses. And also 9,000 more people. It was one thing looking at them on paper, but I decided to take a look for myself. Project PB1 is behind Dame Alice Owen's School. "900 homes are planned to be built on this green field. That's a potential 2,200 extra people using a small one-way country lane. The plot is quite near the M25 and the South Mims interchange. Plot PB2 is in the heart of the town. It is behind Darks Lane. This sprawling, disused golf course is planned to have an extra 1,000 homes, with the potential of an extra 2,500 people. Alongside it is the railway, the Camborne Industrial Estate, and a solar farm. Plot PB3 runs along the Barnet Road and is very close to the M25. The corner of the plot is at the bottom of Hill Rise and Cherry Tree Lane. These beautiful sunflowers are growing, some remnants of a leftover crop, and this family were taking some summer selfies. And all of this would go to make room for 900 homes and potentially 2,200 extra people. And the large ridge in the middle of the field is actually the railway tunnel from Hadley Wood to Potters Bar. And the plot will extend down to the M25. Plot PB4 is right next to junction 24 of the M25 at the bottom of Southgate Road, a very busy road during the week. This would add another 900 homes and potentially another 2,200 people. This large plot is right next to junction 24 of the M25. If those 3,800 homes weren't enough, there are more plots planned. Plot 177 is on the opposite side of the junction 24 and has an unspecified number of houses. But comparing it to the land size of plot PB4, there could be 400 more homes. And there are more plans. This disused office block at the corner of Southgate Road and the High Street. The Canada Life building. Planned 265 dwellings with potentially another 660 people. And Prince's Parade, there since 1900, will go with the loss of all of these businesses. And still, that doesn't seem enough. Behind the station is a car park. And the council is planning to build 55 flats in which they say is an underused car park. It doesn't look unused to me, and where will all those cars go? And if you're starting to feel worried, even your own street is not immune from expansion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many constituents in Potters Bar have been in touch with me about their concerns about increases in applications for houses of multiple occupation. Streets such as Strafford Gate are quiet residential roads with semi-detached bungalows on them. They're really not suitable for being converted into units with 5 or 6 bedrooms in them. Will the Leader of the House therefore find time for us to debate whether planning rules in respect of houses of multiple occupation are fit for purpose?
Well, I'm really sorry to hear about what's happening in Potters Bar in his constituency, and he's absolutely right. You know, the proliferation of HMOs can have a devastating effect on communities. There are some regulations that local authorities have, some powers that they have, but they aren't sufficient often. That's why we've got the Renters' Rights Bill coming through, strengthening the powers of local authorities in the private rented sector, including in relation to HMOs, and I look forward to him supporting that bill as it continues to progress.
The local council could invoke Article 4 of the Housing Act, which would restrict permitted development rights for HMOs. Oliver Dowden MP could have done this while he was in office in the Conservative Party. There seems to be a conflict of interest, though, with many MPs being landlords themselves. I visited a local residents group who are against the proliferation of the HMOs. Jim showed me a local 6-bed accommodation that didn't look like it was up to standard. And his face said it all when I played in the Oliver Dowden speech in Parliament.
Devastating effect on communities.
Jim and Sue, what does the HMO situation in Potters Bar mean to you?
Well, Susan and I have been residents of Potters Bar for many years. We started to notice increasing number of properties going through changes around Potters Bar. Indeed, where I live at the moment, there are 3 within 150 metres. Susan?
I was in fact born in Potters Bar and lived here most of my life, moved away for a few but moved back. I got involved because there was an HMO being built 2 doors down from me in Strafford Gate. It was originally a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, and it's been converted now into a 4 or 5-bedroom family home with a 3-metre extension. Well, that was the initial plan. Once that was approved, it then changed use to HMO with a 6-metre extension. And despite 52 objections, permission was given for that build. The application for the HMO is currently going through, which of course will still be objected. That's how I got involved initially.
You found out a few things about what was going on after you got your concerns raised?
Yes, because other residents started telling us, particularly after we saw the Oliver Dowden documentary on television in the Parliament, that they have seen developments near their house, and they were concerned, and they locally wrote to the council expressing their concerns. Occasionally, some people also complained that the police were called out to a number of HMOs for unsociable behaviours. That's how I recall it.
Yes, I was involved quite early on with my neighbour that links immediately to number 59 Strafford Gate, where the problem started. I met with Jeremy Newark along with other residents and also Oliver Dowden, who were very sympathetic and understood exactly where we were coming from. My tact has always been that with the granting of HMOs, it's about what about the impact on the people that live near them and next door. That seemed to be the missing part of the puzzle. If applications are made from HMO and all the rules are met and ticked off, it just goes ahead without any consideration to the impact on the residents nearby. And that was my tact, was what about the human rights for the elderly that live nearby, the families that is impacting too. That's where I was coming from my input.
A few of us got together and formed a small committee, and just set up a Facebook page called HMO Development in Potters Bar. Very shortly afterwards, we undertook some research from the Hertfordshire website itself, and I was quite amazed at what I saw. I mean, I saw that in 2021, there were 3 licensed HMOs in Potters Bar. It rose to 16 in 2022, became 34 in 2023, and in 2024, that figure jumped to 60. And as of July 2025, licensed HMOs have been granted to 75 properties with 15 pending. But if proportion are, you can see that in relation to other towns, which I can talk about, we are kind of in a town of 23,500 people, already got 90, and potentially another 30, 40 likely to become in the same situation.
And you said that there was a disproportionate amount in local towns around, like Hatfield.
Yes, I mean, look at the main 5 towns in Hertfordshire Council. Boreham Wood, population of 36,300. This is as a 2021 census, got 50 HMOs. Bushy, 28,000 population, again 2021 census, got 7. Elstree, 5,100 people, 3 HMOs. Radlett, 10,061 according to 2021 census, just 1. And Potters Bar, 23,325 in 2022 census, 90 of which 15 are pending. So it seems to be a little bit out of context. It doesn't make sense to us.
And you've raised a petition against this?
Yes. From our Strafford Gate residents, we had 52 objections to the one that was proposed in Strafford Gate. But we've now got a petition with just over 2,000 people. We've been out and about in Potters Bar, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, the station, just inviting people to share concerns. And many people are really surprised that they think it's just their problem in their street, but all of a sudden, how widespread it is and what a massive impact it is. And there are some HMOs that run extremely well, very few though, because all the issues we're having are, to do with things that Jim's alluded to, real problems with the neighbours that live near these HMOs. So,
collectively, the help of residents, which have been really supportive, we've got 800, so now almost 3,000, and we are going to present that petition to the leader of the Hertfordshire Council, Jeremy Newark, Sir Oliver Dowden, our MP for Potters Bar, and other key people as well. That's what the plan is, to make them aware of what the extent of people's concerns are. Jeremy Newark, leader of the council, wrote to Sir Oliver Dowden giving his firm commitment to apply Article 4 direction in other relevant parts of the town. Now, that's really a step in the right direction, which is what we've been asking for. But there's already a limited Article 4 in place already in Potters Bar. And what we are saying, there's one already in place. Why not extend that and make it immediate to all of Potters Bar. And the question has been raised, is what does Jeremy mean by relevant part of the town? Yeah, Article 4 is basically a process whereby it gives the local authorities the ability to say yes or no to a HMO. And at the moment, HMOs up to 6 bedrooms are just granted the licenses straight away, whereas Article 4 will prevent them having that because council has a say on that.
With all this new information, I decided to go and meet Councillor Chris Myers. Chris, what is your stance on the proposed housing projects within Potters Bar?
Potters Bar is a brilliant town, but we're at a crossroads. Young people who grew up here are being priced out. They can't afford to stay near family or friends, and it's not just sad, it should be a massive warning sign. We're in a national housing crisis, and pretending that Potters Bar can opt out it just isn't realistic. The question isn't whether we grow, but it's how. How do we grow? And that's why I've worked hard to protect our most valuable Greenbelt, including getting PB3 taken out of the local plan. But I've never said no to all Greenbelt development. I've always supported developing the golf course, for instance, and not just recently. And it's really interesting. That site was originally meant to mirror, I believe it was Billy Lowe's Lane. The original plans are in Potters Bar Museum, and they're well worth checking out. So the site has been in private hands for decades with little or no public access, just a few people paying to use it. Now, if you look at an aerial view of this particular site, the golf course is a wedge of land carved out of the town shape, filling it in with homes while creating new areas of public woodland and parkland. It just sort of makes sense. I went to the developer's open day at the Williots, and I was reassured. This isn't about cramming in houses for me. It's about opening up the land that's there for the public to use. Still, I do understand, really do, why people are worried. But freezing the town in time just won't fix the problems. Schools are reducing their intake because there aren't enough young families. NHS services just won't improve unless we have a balanced population. And with projects like the data centre, where local control is limited to say the very, very least, I've shown up, engaged, and worked to get the best possible deal for the town. Because sometimes a job isn't just to fight, it's about shaping what's coming. So I want Potters Bar to stay a living, breathing town, not a museum. And that means planning for the future, not just protecting the past.
After the interview, Chris told me I'd been working to the wrong plan. So I tried again and went back to the Hertfordshire website, and I got the same results. Then Chris sent me a link to the new local plan. What I found was every single bit of Hertfordshire building was in there. Radlett, Boreham Wood, Elstree, and it was so confusing. So Chris sent me an email with all the bullet points of the changes to the original plan. PB1, Dame Alice School, not in current plan. PB2, the golf course, still included, but 500 homes. PB3, not in the current plan, but there is a speculative bid for another 900 homes. PB4, just by the M25, not in the current plan. Station car park, 55 flats, refused by the council but overturned by the National Planning Inspectorate and going ahead. Canada Life Place, 265 dwellings going ahead. There are also additional sites under the new plan. Sunnybank School will become 50 new homes and a special needs school. Plot 177, Dove Lane, 95 homes now going ahead. The reason I made this documentary is there was a lack of awareness of what was happening in Potters Bar, including myself. The original plan was formed by the Conservative Council, and the new council, which is Labour and Liberal, have formed the new plan. But I was misled at the beginning by the old plan that is still on the website. I was also unaware of the increase in HMOs, which was brought to my attention by Jim and Susan. But the fact is, anything can be overturned by the National Planning Inspectorate, so many of these projects may still be going ahead. Potters Bar is a victim of its own success, with the railway bringing people within 20 minutes of London. And just like the old plan was overturned, the new plan could be overturned too. Being aware is only half the battle, and I recommend the following information for you to do your own research. Go to the Hertfordshire website for the new plan, Facebook page HMOs, HMO Development in Potters Bar, and the petition against HMOs at change.org.